You're listening to the Empowered Divorce Podcast, where you practice being the chooser in your life again, one day at a time. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my amazing, beautiful listeners. Happy New Year. It is a new year. Can you believe it? I swear my dad was right. The older you get, the faster time flies. Sometimes I like that, and sometimes I don't, especially when the year around my birthday comes around. It just goes by so fast. Yet here we are, headed into year 4 of this podcast. Year 4, more than 200 episodes, including bonuses. I am still blown away that this community continues to grow and stretch across the entire world. You women, you share your stories, your pain, your hope, your concerns, your sad. You share how you feel not so alone when you hear the messages of whether it's me or a guest or other women who have come in years past on this podcast to share their story. I just want you to know that I feel that with you and love holding the space with you. I am so grateful that you let me be a part of your journey. I love it when you tell me when you listen or how you listen, whether it's on walks or in the car when you're waiting for the kids at the pickup line. I really do imagine all of you when I'm talking, when I'm sharing. I imagine all of you sitting in front of me and we're having this conversation. And I'm hearing your pain and your fears and your concerns. With each episode, I try to address one of those or validate one of those concerns so that you feel heard and seen even through the airwaves. So when you share with me that that's the experience you're having, it makes me feel so good and I love it. And it keeps me going. It keeps me recording every week for y'all because I know that some of you have been in places so low that you've wondered if waking up tomorrow is even worth it. And I wish I could sit across from you, those of you who are in that place right now, and look you in the eyes and hold your hand, remind you that you are way more capable than you realize, that you are made for so much more than the rubble that someone else left around you. You are a badass and you absolutely can rise. And this year can be the year that you rise. This year can be anything that you want it to be. This year can hold a different energy than the year before. Now, before we jump in, if you haven't already, it would mean the world to me if you leave a review or give that 5-star rating. I think I already know where the 1-star came from, and that's okay. I'm not here for him. I am here for you. Let's blow this podcast up this year so more women across the globe know the truth, that you are amazing, that you are beautiful, that you are enough just as you are. You did not cause this. You could not cure it and you cannot control it, but you can choose to get up. You can choose to take the steps forward and you can choose to create that life that is so good that you'll be pinching yourself to just double check that you're really in it. I want that so bad for each of you because I know it's available. And I also know that it can feel impossible to even imagine that that's available. Sometimes people approach a new year and they do feel a little bit more hopeful. They're a little bit more motivated to do the new thing, to create the new thing. Sometimes people can go into the new year feeling dread that there's another year. A lot of that depends on what the year prior has been, with the energy that you're in right now, with the circumstances that you're going through right now. Oftentimes in the world, social media, the language, the verbiage, the hype is new year, new you, or new year, new me, right? That type of phrase and energy, like we're supposed to just walk into January as a completely upgraded version of ourselves. And honestly, for most of you who would rather erase the past year entirely, that can sound appealing. New year, new me, right? Let it all go, erase it all. But it can also be incredibly pressuring because of this cultural expectation that says you're supposed to magically become something like now we need to move into high functioning, get your life together, get your crap together, emotionally regulated in 2026. Or you know what? 2026, now just be confident. Okay. It's a new year. So just be confident. Be confident in yourself on January 1st. And meanwhile, your body is still trying to remember how to breathe because it might still be holding your breath, bracing. Your body is still deciding if it wants to get out of bed, if it's a good idea or not, or how. Your body is still in shock, still sorting through what was real in that relationship and what isn't. It's still trying to understand if this today is your real life. How many of you are like, is this really my life? Is this really my life? Is this really happening? I heard myself say that all the time. Right now, your body, new year, but your body is probably still triggered, still startled easily. You might feel foggy, that brain fog, a lot of fear, because maybe court's still happening, decisions are still being made. So I really want to be very, very clear with my new year message. This episode is not about becoming a new you. It's about returning to the you that has been there all along, the one in your body waiting for you to say hi because you haven't had time to say hi. You've been in survival mode, you've been fixing everything and everybody. The one that is waiting for you to finally feel because maybe up until this point, feeling grief or pain has been avoided. We haven't had time because we're still living in survival and trying to get through all of this, sort through all of this stuff, keep it together. No time to feel. Maybe your body is waiting for you to accept the reality that this is your life right now, that you are divorcing or divorced. Accept that you can't fix all of the emotions of your children. Accept that you can't fix what everybody thinks about the divorce and you and your role in that. Your body is waiting really for you to love her because new year, new me doesn't work when you've been through trauma. It built on pressure, not safety. It assumes that you can just white knuckle your way past what your nervous system is still trying to heal. With all of these mantras and affirmations and different mindsets. Now, look, I am all about affirmations and mindsets and looking at your thoughts, knowing that you can change your thought. I get that. I get that. But being trauma informed also lets me know that you can't mindset your way out of the deep brain trauma and emotions. You can't journal your way out of shock that is stuck in the body, keeping you braced and armored. You can't goal set your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. That would be easy, right? That would be easy. And then everybody would do it. But if you're here and you're listening or you're seeking for help because these things aren't working, I just want you to know it's not because something's wrong with you or broken in your mind or your body. I want to talk today about what it might look like to start returning to your body and what that actually means. Coming back to your body, the way that I want to, I guess, teach it today or talk about it today means reconnecting to that place where your truth lives. And I know a lot of times we're getting a lot of like, my truth, my truth, my truth. And I want to validate that we can swing way on the other side of the pendulum with this phrase, your truth. So what I mean by that is your intuition, your limits, your values, your lived experience is your truth. Reconnecting back to your body means reconnecting to that place where your lived experience, your truth lives. It doesn't mean you have to live there forever. We have to acknowledge where it's living before we can change our mind if we want to about that experience. Reconnecting to your body means reconnecting. And for a lot of you, maybe for the first time in your life, noticing your needs, recognizing, acknowledging that you have needs, acknowledging your safety cues, your warning signals, your wisdom. All of that lives in your body, but we disconnect from it. This is why having someone that's trauma informed is so important because when you're living in an unsafe environment and the relationship attachment isn't safe, then the body brilliantly adjusts and adapts. And this is where as the armoring and the bracing dissociation come in. We have to forego the needs, maybe, right? I can't have a need because that means I might not be safe. I can't have a voice. I can't speak up. I can't say, hey, you know what? You don't get to be angry if I say no. I have a right to say no. That's consent. So if you want to be angry, don't come at me with it. It is not my job. If the thought of saying that would have led to more attachment risk, injury, or actual harm, we're not going to say that. You're going to disconnect 100%. I know, I did it. So reconnecting might, and I'll just say with that example, reconnecting to the voice that wasn't allowed to speak might first just be recognizing and reconnecting to the right to say no. That right might have not felt safe to have or to own. We had to let that go. No, let that go. It's not as simple even as that, right? Like, it's not like I consciously made a decision to tell myself I don't have a right to say no. What replaced that was my job as a wife, or as a wife, I should be providing that. If I don't, then he might cheat or he might whatever. As a wife, we're supposed to have sex. We're supposed to connect and be intimate. And so if he wants it and I say no, I'm rejecting him. That's not good. That's not right. It's not what a wife should do. And when my world and when my family of origin, religion, childhood, adults in my life were reinforcing that message, it didn't seem wrong. But what was happening was I was disconnecting from my voice, my no, in order to stay in that relationship. So reconnecting back to your body is reconnecting back to your truth, your rights, your values, your limits, your needs, what feels safe for you, actually, not what feels safe in order to keep this attachment at all costs, including the cost of my body, my soul, my spirit, my mind, my heart. All of that lives in your body. So many of you can relate to this next part, maybe too, the overthinking everything and everyone, needing that constant reassurance that you're good enough, you're lovable, you're not a complete disaster. Maybe feeling that numb and fogginess, struggling to even think clearly right now, forgetting things, having just daily tasks that should be so simple feel absolutely impossibly heavy. I cannot tell you how many times my sweet clients will say, I can't even shower. And they feel shame or embarrassed or think I'm going to judge them. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. That's big right now because that is what happens when you've had to disconnect from your body. I had a memory come back recently. I was from a time when I was newly single. I was living with my parents, all four kids, just trying to breathe and trying to figure out what my next step was in all of this chaos. And I was sitting at the table. My parents were talking, and apparently my youngest son was pinching my arm, just pinching harder and harder, just being a teenage boy, probably testing to see how long it could take for me to react. Right? Whatever. But it didn't even register. He had finally looked at me and was like, Mom, don't you feel that? I looked down and I saw his little fingers digging into my arm. And it was only then that I did register the pain. And there was like this huge red mark. Like I could see his little fingernails in my skin and this red mark on my arm. It didn't even register. I was so disconnected from my body that I literally couldn't feel someone physically hurting me. Again, not because I didn't care, not because something was wrong with me, because my body had been in survival for so long that it shut down the overwhelm. It had to shut down and disconnect. Pain was happening, right? The pain was it was happening. He was pinching. My skin was red. It was indented, but I was disconnected from it. That's what trauma does. The truth is that it catches up. You're not going to be able to outrun the pain, the numb forever. The body will ask you to come back. And so returning to your body and maybe using this new year, new you in this context, in this deeper way, with this meaning, returning to your body is looking down and saying, oh, that hurts. And I can feel it now. I'm going to allow myself to feel it. It's naming it, giving it a name, whether that's the name of the emotion, naming the reality. It's understanding the story behind it. It's giving yourself space to own your story. This is where working with someone professionally around this area can be so beneficial because it's returning to you. It's returning to the self-awareness. It's returning to the self-validation. That's returning to you. It's validating instead of shoving away, burying, numbing out, ignoring, which feels like it's better. But just like the example I gave you with my son pinching, my body was still receiving the signals of pain. Whether I connected to that at that time, right? For who knows how long he was pinching me, I didn't connect to it because I was disconnected, head body disconnect. My body was still receiving all of the signals of pain and adjusting to that, responding to that in a very physiological way. This is where sometimes we think that we're okay, but it's just really false because we're really disconnected. We're just ignoring it, but your body is still going to be running and adjusting to the signal of that pain, which is why you can't outrun it, which is why it's going to catch up, which is why we have autoimmune disease, chronic illness, and pain as it catches up. Just a quick pause to invite everyone to my Dating from Within workshop, January 8th through 10th. You don't want to miss this. Dating from Within isn't traditional dating advice. It's not all just about scripts, tactics, or how to get someone to stay. It's a workshop that helps you deepen the relationship you have with yourself. You can date from a more grounded, aligned, and emotionally regulated place, not a protective one, which many of us rightly are often in. What makes this different is the lens that I teach from, the somatic and nervous system work, so that you can recognize what your body is doing on dates, what fear versus intuition, and how to stay in your window of tolerance. I approach it from attachment awareness and supporting those of you who have lived through betrayal, abuse, and overfunctioning or chronic self-abandonment in those past relationships. We're using that healing model of awareness, acceptance, and agency. One of my favorite parts of this workshop is walking through the 7 different levels of energy through the lens of dating, helping you recognize how you're showing up and why you might be getting the results or not getting the results that you want. Now, I cannot promise what you're going to get out of this workshop. That is up to you. But what I can say is if you're wanting something deeper than just the usual dating tips and tricks, and you really want to rebuild the inner relationship that shapes every outer relationship, then that's what this is about. Register amiewoolsey.com or the link in the show notes. Join me for a couple hours for 3 nights, 8th, 9th, and 10th. I will see you there. Returning to your body and the feelings and the sensations doesn't mean that you feel good, happy, positive. It means you feel what's real. It means you look down and you see the red on your arm and the indentation and the child's little fingers pinching, and you go, oh, ow, I feel it and it hurts. And this is the really unknown, unseen, not understood by other people type of experience with this kind of life-saving divorce, because you should have been safe. How you were living in that relationship and showing up in that relationship, it should have been safe, but it wasn't. The person that should have been safe was really metaphorically digging their nails into you and pinching you. One of the deepest wounds and betrayal trauma is that when the person who was supposed to be safe becomes the source of danger, your body learned to disconnect, to dissociate, to survive, and to not feel, to not look at the pinching. And so your system adapts. You scan them, not yourself. You scan them, not you. You override your discomfort to feel the peace. You ignore the tension in the relationship, in the room, in the situation, because conflict wasn't safe. So you learned how to skillfully mitigate that tension. You disconnect from your intuition because it wasn't allowed. Because if you believed what your intuition was telling you, it was too scary, too unsafe. It risked that attachment. So you stopped trusting your yes or your no because they weren't respected, valued, honored. What happened after the no was worse. So why am I going to say no? This is not you showing up or being in a dramatic way. It's not your weakness. It's your nervous system protecting you the only way that it could. When you finally get out, when you are no longer in that environment, those ropes that kept you tied start to fall away, and the body finally has some room to reconnect with you. And it is gentle and it is slow and it is in your timing. Some of you may have heard me share this story before, but I think it fits perfectly here. Years ago, when I was single cleaning houses, I had someone gift me a pedicure. And as this woman was using that cheese grater thing on my heels, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, some of you, she sliced my heel open. I know. All the feels, right? But it was bad, y'all. Like, it was bad. The manager or someone or all these other workers like ran to the grocery store next to us, grabbing all the first aid supplies. Like, it was not just put a Band-Aid on it. It was bad. Anyways, I know. Bleh. But in true trauma fashion, I spent the whole time comforting her, worrying about her and how she felt so bad while my own foot was gushing blood. That's what happens when you disconnect from your body. You minimize your pain. I might have mentioned this last time I shared it, but it wasn't until the lady next to me, I happened to look up and look at her face, and her face is what brought me back to like, oh, again, very symbolically, her face was like the story before my son going, Mom, doesn't this hurt? To bring me back to my body, or I realized my pain. But before that, you minimize, you accommodate others, you abandon yourself first. Now, fast forward years later, I'm at another pedicure, like years later. Okay. And the woman lifts up my foot and she's rubbing around my heel. And she actually asked this time to use the cheese grater thingy. And this time my heels definitely needed it, but I still hesitated. And I pulled back my leg and she grabs my calf and gently but firmly, she says, relax. It's okay. Relax. You will be okay. And for whatever reason, something in me clicked back into place where my body was holding on to that trauma and remembering that experience. Her holding my calf, looking at me and firmly saying, it's okay. You will be okay. My body softened. My chest loosened. My jaw relaxed. I could breathe. I could allow it. I could trust. Not just her, but myself. I could trust my body. I felt my safety. That moment wasn't really about the pedicure. It was about my nervous system realizing I'm not in danger anymore. I can soften now. This, this is what returning to your body looks like, because self-trust begins in the body. We always think rebuilding trust starts in the mind, but it starts in the body. Your body is the one that softens when something's safe. Your body is the one that responds before your brain can catch up. Self-trust is not a thought. It is a sensation. And so rebuilding that trust in the body and reconnecting to the body is listening to that discomfort instead of dismissing it. In experiences where I have felt uncomfortable, but learned and had trauma responses to dismiss that very quickly and more or less manage their uncomfortability. So if I'm uncomfortable and I acknowledge that, and then I make my decision based off of that, which might mean I say no or no, thank you, or stop. Well, that might make them feel uncomfortable, right? My trauma response, my learned behavior or attachment is to manage that over mine, manage their uncomfortability over my own uncomfortability. I'm going to disconnect from my discomfort, dismiss it, then manage theirs. Now I'm going to self-abandon, self-betray, and disconnect. Reconnecting is listening to this, to my discomfort, and honoring that with whatever comes. Maybe that's a no, maybe that's a no, thank you, maybe a not now. Then noticing if that other person feels uncomfortable, but letting that be over on their side of the street, not bringing that inside me and not abandoning me to then manage them. Trusting myself means naming my need without apologizing for it. The person that I'm sharing my need with might not honor the need or respect it or be able to give that right now. I'm not going to then abandon the need or apologize or say, never mind, I don't need it, which that's kind of my go-to. Oh, never mind, I can do it myself. Never mind, I can do it. I'm going to just throw it out the window. Oh, you can't do it. Done. Don't need it. Or, you know what? I'm so sorry for asking. I shouldn't have asked. I shouldn't have said anything. No, I'm abandoning what I trusted that I needed. Returning to your sense of self-trust and you is pausing before you answer someone instead of feeling like you have to automatically give an answer right away. How about that one? That was new for me. Feeling your feet on the ground, grounding, anchoring into the room, into the situation, into the circumstance before you make a decision helps rebuild self-trust. Telling the difference between fear and truth in your body. I'll talk more about that in another time, but learning how to do that rebuilds self-trust. So one of the most important things we can do in returning to our body is start listening to it, paying attention to the tightening in the chest, the clenching of the jaw, the swirling in the stomach, and not dismissing it like it's nothing or ignoring it and calling it overreacting or drama. Even being frustrated that we're noticing our chest tighten and we don't know why, right? We get stuck in, I don't know why my chest is so tight. We try figuring it out rather than just listening and being with the sensation. The body reacting first is what kept our ancestors alive, right? If animals in the wild that paused and think about it, they didn't make it. The ones who listened to the instinct survived. So when your body tightened, flinched, heart raced, chest sank, it was sensing something. It was picking up on something. Our bodies know before we do. So with the new year and everyone claiming new year, new you, and the pressure or idea or thought that because it's January 1st, it's just as simple as set a goal and accomplish it. Returning to your body after betrayal is not that simple as just breathe. Just take a couple good deep breaths. If it were that easy, all of us would have healed a long time ago. When you've lived in survival for so long, coming back into your body can honestly feel terrifying, uncomfortable, and I'll even say wrong. When I work with clients in the somatic sessions, the bracing and the armoring against experiences that held a lot of terror, a lot of fear, a lot of shock, a lot of horror, and we get stuck in that bracing and armoring, it becomes normal. Out of safety, it becomes comfortable. To release that and physiologically come into a new body position, but in a new mental position to think and feel, sometimes feeling your emotions after a long period of shutting all of that down and living in survival and really not being able to allow space for grief, let's say. Coming into grief can feel really wrong and uncomfortable. What's wrong with me, right? Am I doing it wrong? What do I need to do differently? Because this feels so awful. But your body is coming back online. Your system is coming back online. If you're avoiding sensations or numbing out or floating above yourself, feeling foggy or disconnected, it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. Your body's been trying to protect you. So returning is slow, it's gentle. I actually consider it really sacred work. One of the things I'll say to my clients is your body has never been the problem. Your body has been the witness. It carried everything that you didn't feel safe enough to feel. It held all of the truth that you weren't allowed to say. And your body absorbed all of those moments that your mind could not process. It was too much to process. So it was not betraying you and is not betraying you. It's protecting you. I was very frustrated with my body in the early years of my healing. And at the time I had my therapist, but I was also working with an amazing coach, and she was helping me work through some of the body dysmorphia type thoughts and experiences I was having. I remember her saying something like, well, we need to learn to love your body. And that was just such a foreign concept. I'm like, yeah, no, like love it. I hate it. First of all, it's not doing what I want it to do because I know that I'm safe, but it is still activated. It is still right anxious. It's still hyper vigilant and it's blowing up on me. Literally, I feel I've gained all of this weight. I feel puffy. I'm tired. I was so mad and frustrated with my body. I did not see it in the way that I am explaining it right now. In the words that I'm offering you right now, I did not see it that way. And I guess I just want to call myself out. If you're hearing what I'm saying and you're like, yeah, I don't see that. No, I don't see it. I don't believe it. I hate it. And yet I was wanting to heal. I wanted I wanted the thing to make all of it go back to normal and go away. I even remember talking to my therapist and saying, just tell me what I need to do to heal all this stuff. Like, I am ready. I will do the work. I will hammer it out. Just, I need this done. Over and over, she would say, your body is not going to take you somewhere that you're not ready to go. I know that now, painfully, but honestly, lovingly. I know that my body is so wise that it's not going to take me somewhere that I'm not ready to go. The body is not going to heal faster than the pace of your safety. Those of you that are not in safety yet, you're in the messy middle, still feeling that heightened sense of threat because the bombs just keep coming at you from the other side. You haven't quite figured out the legal piece of it to give you a little bit of that legal safety. So maybe you're having a lot of legal threats. It doesn't quite feel safe yet to just live, breathe, function, go to the store, take the kids on a trip for the weekend because you don't know if any of that's going to be weaponized. And yet you might be pressuring yourself, judging yourself, mad at yourself for not healing faster. Your body will not heal faster than the pace of safety. When we do the bottom up work, the somatic work, the sensations to the awareness, the instinct to the understanding, the protection to the connection, that bottom up type approach. And this is all that somatic work that you hear me speak about ad nauseum. Returning to your body doesn't mean feeling happy, great, like everything is awesome, joyful. It's just means that things are going to start to feel very real. It means we're going to recognize, not judge or shame the tightness, the ache of grief, the heaviness of this new life, and all that comes with it is resting greatly upon your shoulders. We don't need to make all of that go away. We need to see it. We need to let our body know that we're listening, that we're not abandoning our body anymore. Returning back to your body is going to be both familiar and unfamiliar at the same time. You know where things used to be. It's like when I go back and visit Arizona and I drive down the streets and I drive down to where our apartment used to be when my four kids and I lived in. It's familiar when I drive by it, but there's still the trees are bigger, the paint of the apartment complex is different, right? There's a level of unfamiliarity around that as well. And I feel like when you do the work of returning to your body, it's a lot like that. It's like, okay, I know my heart's over on my right. I know I have feet, I know I have hands, but maybe the unfamiliarity is the grief. And maybe it is allowing for the anxiety in the chest. Maybe a lot of the unfamiliarity is safety. Maybe feeling safe right now is a little unfamiliar. And so we question it, doubt it, might feel wrong. Peace, happy might feel wrong, uncomfortable, even. Like that time I told you all about when I laughed out loud when I was living at my parents' house and I know my brother did something and I laughed out loud and I heard myself laugh out loud for the first time, and I don't even know how long. It was so unfamiliar, but familiar at the same time. My mind had forgotten what it was like to laugh so loud. And in that moment of laughter, to feel happy, it felt wrong. It felt unfamiliar. I had just left my husband. It almost felt wrong to laugh. I went in the bathroom and cried. It was such a conflicting experience. Coming back to your body doesn't mean rushing in. Go slowly. Doesn't mean we need to figure everything out and learn all of the things and where did we go wrong and where did I go wrong in the relationship and what was my part and how do I did it? How do I never make this happen again? It just means, right? Just slow down and maybe start with learning about your attachment style. As you move into this new year, don't pressure yourself to become the new you. Just take one tiny step forward to the you that's been there all along, the you inside your body. Maybe just start incorporating 30-minute arrival practices. Notice one sensation a day. Put your hand on your chest, say, I'm here and I am safe enough. Because every time you do that, every time you acknowledge your body with presence, with gentleness, you're rebuilding that bridge back to you. You're reconnecting back to you. I don't think we need to reinvent you. I think we just need to remember you. And a lot of my clients who think about dating again, even if they're not ready to, sometimes think they have to reinvent. They have to be a totally different version of themselves in order to date. And a lot of times with statements like heal you first, right? Heal all of this stuff so that you don't get into the same relationship. I think there's a lot more nuance to that. Sometimes we take those statements and go way on the other side of the pendulum and try to do this new year, new you type of sentiment or recreate, reinvent, right? Because we don't want to go back to that place in the past. We want to do something maybe different or new. I don't think that it really works that way. And I don't think it really works that way when you return to you and learn to accept, to trust, and yes, even love you, that changes everything around you. It changes your perspective. It changes the way that you see you, the way that you see yourself in the dating experience. It changes the way you see yourself as a single person, as a mom, all of it. It all shifts. Not because you're some brand new version of you, is because you returned to yourself, stop disconnecting from yourself, and are actually learning to love yourself. In that reconnection, it allows you to be the chooser, to create what you want, the next experience. And if that is dating, then you're going to want to join me January 8th through 10th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time. If you can't make all 3 nights, they are recorded. They come with a workbook. The last night, at the end of our session, there's a live Q&A with my husband, Scott, to ask a guy anything, which always turns into a really good, enriching conversation. Click the link in the show notes to register or go to amiewoolsey.com. Dating from within is helping you reconnect back to you. And when you're ready to date, it is showing up in that dating experience reconnected to all the parts of you, not the perfect parts, not all the healed parts, all of the parts, the messy ones, the betrayed parts, the abused parts, all of it. Come and join me. It's going to be a lot of information, but it's going to be a lot of fun as well. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. I will see you next time. Take care.